Ladies and gentlemen, what you are looking at are the seraphim, or the faces of the seraphim that have eyes before and behind. And the reason that I say this is because in the book of Exodus 25 verse 19, it speaks about placing angels upon the Ark of the Covenant. Put one angel on the one side and put another angel on the other side. And they are the six-winged seraphim. This, what I am pointing to here, is one eye of the six-winged seraphim, and this is the other eye, because in the Bible the seraphim are described as having faces that had eyes before and behind, and in this case this would be before and behind. However, when you place a picture of Tutankhamun's headdress over the seraphim from this angle of attack, you can see that the outline even of the inverted seraphim are identical to the outline of Tutankhamun's headdress, including the pilated false beard and the vulture's headdress. What I said was the vulture's headdress that appears on the brow of Tutankhamun. And these are noticeable when I move the face back and forth. This is clearly an outline of Tutankhamun, because it was placed here for a very specific reason. The gods that once ruled Egypt were descendants of beings probably from Atlantis, and in all likelihood dating back much further than that. And what I have discovered by playing with the pictographs that I discovered on the $1 bill and the words in the Bible is that there is a direct link between the words in the Bible and the pictographs that appear upon the $1 bill. If you will also notice, this pink winged-like flowering that wraps itself around what I have designated as the God pod that has the pyramid inside the central portion of the God pod, or the evil seed of death, that which has the eagle inside the compass sphere, or what I call the evil seed of death. The seraphim are identical in nature on both sides, aka the evil seed of death in this case, or the God pod in this case, which is colored slightly different. The reason that these seraphim, that I explained to you that these seraphim exist, is quite simple. The seraphim were placed upon the Bible, were placed upon the $1 bills to protect the Lord God. In this reference, the seraphim's wings are wrapped around the pyramid. So therefore you could come to the conclusion that if this represents the Lord God, and this is what I call the evil seed of death, with a representation of Satan within the evil seed of death, why would the seraphim protect Satan? This, ladies and gentlemen, is answered specifically because of an Eastern principle, that which I studied, called Zen or Buddhism, in that you must have opposing forces in order to see that there is a difference. Therefore, this opposing force, the negative, would represent the yang, and this positive force, aka the positive force of the Lord God, would represent the yin. Therefore, the seraphim that are placed upon the Ark of the Covenant represent the protectorants of good and evil, in that they exist. Now, would the Lord God choose good over evil? It's almost impossible to tell, and in today's world, considering the fact that there are so many people that have sold their souls to Satan, aka the politicians, the lawyers, the people that own the insurance companies, and other like entities known as the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and of course my favorite, the dildo burgers. These people have sold their souls to the force of energy that exists, that which I have called the evil seed of death. And inside the evil seed of death are nothing, no objects, and no forms of life. And I will briefly go through some of the different forms of evil within the evil seed of death, so that you can understand just what I mean when I tell you there is nothing that represents life. First of all, we're going to take the evil seed of death from its normal perspective, and what you have is an eagle, and above the eagle you have what looks like a starburst, but it is actually a nuclear detonation. This represents death. The eagle itself, which is nothing more or short of a killing machine in and of itself, is representation of death. Inside the eagle's talons you have arrows, and in its sinister claw are 13 arrows. In its dexter claw is a bow, spelled B-A-U or B-O-W, which represents a bow and arrows. This also is a representation in and of itself of the 44th POTUS, or the chief of the United States of America. It is a representation of the presidency of America. However, the chief, in this case the 44th POTUS, is also represented as Satan. When you turn the bill upside down, you can clearly see an Indian headdress that represents the chieftain of an Indian tribe. Inside the chieftain's sinister claw are the arrows, and this is the bow that the chieftain would use to move into a state of war. And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you that this particular video is going to end, and I thank you for your participation. This is Michael Fazio in the Florida Keys saying God day to you.